Okay, welcome to Styles Part 2. Now, I'm going to start by creating a brand new drawing. I'm going to go to the New button, and I'm going to use one of my standard Civil 3D templates, the metric one specifically. Now remember, just like layers and dimension styles, text styles, etc. in plain AutoCAD, the template file, the DWT, will also store all of our drawing styles. Alright, so the template stores a lot of different information, especially with Civil 3D. Now, I'm going to start just by making a couple of real quick and easy points. I'm going to go to my points pull down menu. I'm going to go create points, miscellaneous, and I'm going to select manual. And take a look at your command line. It always is giving you a prompt that says specify the location for the new point. Just left click anywhere in the drawing, it doesn't matter where. Pick a point, and then it says enter a point description. I'm going to call it my first point. Hit enter, and then it says specify point elevation. I'll give it an elevation of 100. And then I'm going to hit escape to end the command, and I'm going to zoom in. Now take a look at this point. It's using a basic standard style. It's not very flashy, but we can change that at any time. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change some of my feature settings. So before you create any data, it's better to set the default styles first. And by that I mean I'm going to go into the settings tab, and I'm going to take a look at the different point styles that I have available. So for instance, perhaps I want my points to be displayed using a benchmark. So if I right click on that benchmark style and go edit, I can take a look at how that style is going to look. Alright, shows me the marker, and I also may want to pay attention to what label styles are going to be used. So I'm going to expand out label styles, and I'm going to pick a label style, maybe elevation and description. Right click and go edit, and that'll show me some information pertaining to that style. And for label styles, I have two different sections. I have the general and the layout. So the general will just tell you what layer it's on, if it's visible or not. The layout tab will show you some different components with respect to that particular label style. So for instance, notice my component name is the point description. In this case, I have two different components with this label style, the description and the elevation. So for my description, I can change things like the text height, the color, etc., and I might want to do the same for the elevation. All right. So that's the style I'm going to choose to use. Now I want to set the default style. So remember, you always want to set the default styles first. I'm going to go into my settings tab, and I'm going to right click on point, and I'm going to go edit feature settings. Now in my edit feature settings, I got some default styles. So I'm going to tell the default point style to be benchmark, and I'm going to change the default point label style to be elevation and description, and I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to click apply. Now when I go to create a new point, I'm going to go create new points, miscellaneous, from the points pull down menu, manual, same thing, pick a location, enter a point description. I'm going to call it my second point, and specify an elevation of 100, for instance. Notice that it looks exactly the same. Well, there's one extra step that you have to do in order to display your points correctly, and that's I'm going to browse into the Prospector tab, and I'm going to expand out point groups. Okay, points are a bit different because every single point gets dumped into the all points point group. All right, we'll talk about point groups a little later, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on all points point group, and I'm going to go properties. Now notice that the default styles for this is set to basic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to benchmark, and I'm going to set my label style to elevation and description, and then I'm going to click apply. And notice that now my points show the correct label and the correct style shown. So two things you want to do: you want to set the default styles in the feature settings, and then right click on the all points point group in the Prospector tab and change the point style for that, because the point group will override what the point setting is set to.